He was just parked across the street.
No, no, what, really?
He made the statement that
I get it.
he was in the vehicle and he made the statement.
I took a shower today, no, I mean, you just make a statement, I mean, no, there's no proof.
To having knowledge of the suspension, and he was in the vehicle parked across the street.
But no one sees him driving?
He did make a statement.
No, embarrassed to be with your mom? Okay.
I separate
Got it.
family and spectators.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Hardy.
How you doing?
Mr. Hardy, you're charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Shh. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On November 22nd, 2024, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle parked more than 18 inches from a curb on a public roadway in the right lane of a two-way road in Harris County, Texas. While the officer ran the motor vehicle, the passenger side door opened, a black female exited, and the female approached the patrol vehicle. The officer made contact with the female and observed a strong odor of marijuana emanating from the female. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, and observed a strong odor of marijuana and had the defendant exit the motor vehicle. A PC search was conducted and the officer located 3.5 in the driver's side door and one blue package with Oops All Berry on the front containing green leafy substance on the rear driver's side floorboard, one red package with Fruity Pebbles on the front containing a green leafy substance in the back seat, and two clear plastic baggies containing green leafy substance under the front right passenger seat. The officer also observed one burnt marijuana cigar behind the front passenger seat and one small chunk of loose green leafy substance in between the driver's seat and the door. The green leafy substance was identified as marijuana based on training experience, and the weight was 54 grams or 1.9 ounces.
He was doing what that was wrong?
So he was parked more than 18 inches from the curb on the right lane of a two-way road. So he was out.
On earth are you going to know that you're parking more than 18 inches? What time of day or night was this?
Your Honor.
Is it parking while black now? Come on.
Yeah. Your Honor, there's no time listed. It just says the officer was on patrol around the 3518 block of Arbor Glen Drive when he observed the vehicle parked more than 18 inches from the curb.
And so he goes up to the car because of that?
No, Your Honor, a female passenger side exited the passenger side and approached their vehicle, and he observed a marijuana from the
because he comes up to them. Right? Stop. Are you losing?
The officer wrote as he ran the vehicle, presumably the license plate.
Right, he pulls him over.
They were already parked on the side of the road 18 inches from the curb, and he came, I guess, parked behind, and he was running the vehicle, and then the passenger side door opened, a black female exited and approached his vehicle, the patrol vehicle, and he observed an odor of marijuana on the female, and then he made contact with the driver, where he observed marijuana odor in the vehicle. So the female approached the patrol vehicle.
Show me in the penal code that code. What is the penal code for that?
Regarding the 18 inches from the curb, sir, is that the
Yeah.
issue of what we're talking about?
Yeah, because they come to him because he comes to them. Right, they're just parked. He comes to them. It's got to be a transportation code, not penal code, you know?
And Your Honor, regarding the timeline of events, it does appear that when they were parked that distance away, which could be arguably further, I don't know what it looked like at that time, but the female passenger is the one who exited first, and that was before officers ever made contact with them. So I don't know if you were thinking that the officers approached them first, but I just wanted to clarify that she
Mhm.
approached first.
What time of day or night was this?
Trying to see that, Your Honor, in a second. Is it 4 in the morning?
And Your Honor, I
4 in the
found,
morning.
4:30 a.m.
And he can delineate at 4 in the morning that parking 18 inches from a curb.
and I found the regulation, the statute in the
Mhm.
transportation code where it says you have to park within 18 inches.
At 4 in the morning, you can tell.
Your Honor, the officer was,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think so. All right, I'm gonna find no probable cause.
Yes,
Judge. Guys, be careful, right? You know, they're always out there. Just be careful. Sir, you're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On December 2nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a minor accident on Sam Houston Parkway. Upon arrival, the officer met with both parties of the accident as well as a witness. The witness advised that there were minor disturbances on scene in which a knife was brandished by the defendant who was parked across the street from the accident. The officer identified the defendant and discovered he had a mandatory suspension on his driver's license for a second DWI. And the defendant advised that he had still been driving for work. He had personal business despite having personal knowledge of the suspension. The defendant stated he was driving from San Antonio and was only waiting for his coworker who was involved in the accident.
Does he have an open DWI right now?
Does not appear so, Your Honor. It appears that the last DWI he had was in 2019 out of Bexar County.
Bear.
Bear County, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Patlan,
Yes, sir.
I want you to understand one thing. I'm going to find that there's, so wait a second. Someone saw him driving or did the officer see him driving? Because I didn't,
He admitted that he had been driving for work. And he admitted to having personal knowledge of suspension as well.
did anyone see him driving?
No, Your Honor, there's only the
Do we
statement.
know even when he was driving?
There was an accident, so that's what dispatch involved, and then
Okay, so, all right, okay, so,
there was an accident, and then officers arrived, and then they made contact with the defendant.
got it. So all this was in response to an accident that he was allegedly involved in.
Yes,
Got it. All right. So I am going to find probable cause, Mr. Patlan. And no, don't. You have the right to remain silent, exercise. I've got about a bunch of DAs here. Anything you say, they're going to use it against you. But let me make something abundantly clear to you. I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit. This is a promise that you're making to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. When we mean no driving, we mean no driving. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 kids. Do not drive. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify at all any reason. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then we can talk. But until that point, I will even do this. This is the number to the DPS driver's license division. If you call them, they can tell you exactly what you need to do to get your license back.
Classes now, sir.
There may be, an SR 22, you may have to do all these other things. What you need to do is call them and they can advise you, but don't drive. Do you understand?
and Your Honor, I do have to make a correction. After reading the full DIMS, the defendant was parked across from the accident. It was his coworker that was involved in the accident. He was parked across, Your Honor, and I do apologize. After reading the complete DIMS, the officer wrote that the defendant was parked across the street from the accident, and he made a statement that he was waiting on his coworker who was in the accident.
No one sees him driving.
He was just parked across the street.
No, no, what, really?
He made the statements that
I get it.
he was in the vehicle and he made the statements.
I took a shower today, no, I mean, you just make a statement. I mean, no, there's no proof.
To having knowledge of the suspension, and he was in the vehicle parked across the street.
But no one sees him driving?
He did make a statement.
No.